the finals in this case. So first thing I want to point out to you that you got your last 3 homework due tonight, 1.4, 1.5, and 1.7. Your online homework is due tonight. So this is the last 3 online homework. And then you do not have any more homework due. This is the last 3 ones due. And then your test. So this is something I just want to point out to you guys for your test is your finals is going to be on this coming Thursday, September 24th. If your last name is A to K, 9:30 to 11 o'clock in CLA 144. This is the finals. If your last name start from L to Z, is going to be on a Friday, September 25 to 9:30 to 11. Let's say you're supposed to be on Thursday, you cannot come to Thursday, you can always make appointment and come on Friday. Same thing, if you cannot come on Friday, you can make appointment and come on Thursday. No matter what, if you cannot show up in this time or these days, you will have to email me as soon as possible. This is very important because we were doing a Zoom testing. So then I have set you up links and so on. So make sure you guys, make sure these are the 2 days that you have to show up for my finals here. And as usual, when you guys come to my to school, you have to fill in that the self-assessment for COVID-19. And if you fail the self-assessment for COVID-19, you have to take tests using Zoom. Okay, it is in the school website. Let me show you where is this. Usually it's on the top here, little corner on the right side. I think they take it out. I don't know why. So you have to go to this COVID-19 update here. This time, if you have the link, you can still use the link. And then here is the self-assessment. Click here to take the self-assessment. Then make sure you take it in the. Make sure you take this for everyone here. For every day, not every day, for the day that you come to take the test. Okay, so if you are coming on Thursday, take the test on Thursday morning. So make sure you guys got this done here, the self-assessment here. So it's in a different position here. So it used to be on the top corner here. Now they're going to go under COVID-19 update, and then click here for self-assessment. Now, I just want to point out to you guys that if you guys want me to review the finals with you guys in class, you can come in at 9 o'clock because the test is at 9:30. So if you want to come into the classroom, the same class here, A144 at 9 o'clock, we will go over some review for your test here. So, so if you guys want, does that sounds okay with you guys? Does that sounds good? That'd be great. I am just only a quick 30 minutes review. That sounds okay with you guys? Okay, and it's optional. So if you want to show up, show up. If you do not show up, it's fine with me. It's optional. I can guarantee you that I will want you guys to show up. The reason why is because it's gonna be it's gonna help you. Okay, so I'm gonna put it down here. Your final is at 9:30 to 11 o'clock. Okay, Thursday or Friday, depends on your last name. Okay, this coming Thursday and Friday. If you want, we will review for your finals at 9 a.m. in the same classroom, CLA 144. So I will recommend that if you guys want to come, just come like 8:30-ish because should be not that busy. I'll be around there. So there will be 3 word problems in this finals. So we will talk more about that. So you got 3 word problems here. It will be the one with percentage. You'll be one that is doing the average test score. And then there is one is using like the height of a person versus the shadow. Okay, So it will be these 3-word problems that we were talking about. One is about percentage. We did one percentage saying that one person's paycheck is 50% more than the second person paycheck. Their total paycheck is $2,000, example. So what is the paycheck for the first person and second person? So that is the percentage problem that we're talking about. And then the average test score is where they give you 3 test score and the 4th test is missing, means you doesn't know what is the 4th test is, and they tell you that these students want to get an A in the class, which is 90% or 90, the average of 90. So what is the 4th test score supposed to be, so that the students can get an A in the class? Something like that. That will be in your test. And then the height and person versus the height of person versus shadow is doing proportion, means that they got like a tree giving us a shadow, and then we got a lamp post, like what we did last week with a lamp with a shadow, and then they tell us how tall this tree is. So those kind of problems you will get. So make sure you guys, those are the word problems. So we'll do more about that on the review for the finals at 9 o'clock. Okay. All right. So now we talk about questions here. Anyone have, first thing is, anyone have any questions with your finals here? So I'm sure this is your finals. Anyone have any questions with your finals? With you know, coming up to 9 o'clock, if you want to review for the finals. If you want to review yourself, where should you review for your I do not know, because midterm, I told you guys to go and review the midterm test. I don't know how many of you did it. So where do you review your midterm test is your textbook. So if you go to your ebook or your textbook, you click on chapter 1, and then you go to the test. Okay, I doesn't know how many of you, again, this form, yeah, totally forget. This formula is given to you in your test. You guys with me here? This all area, perimeter, circumference, volume formula, temperature, simple interest, compound interest, distance. So all these formulas will be provided in the test exactly like this. So you do not need to memorize the formula for this, for the word problem here. Okay. So all this one. So where do you find your review for your finals here? Is you go to the chapter 1. You go at the very end and you do a chapter test here. So you click on the chapter test, and then this is all the chapter tests that I will recommend you to review here. So the answer is just right underneath there. So if you just click it, they will give you the answer. Please practice this. It looks very similar to it. There are some questions that I would not recommend you to practice. So I will tell you to skip question number 14. So you do not need to do question number, I will tell you which to skip. Let me just glance through this quick. This question wants you to figure out to draw the graph. Do not need to worry about checking symmetry. So one thing I want to point out to you guys, some students here, there's no symmetry. So no symmetry in your final. So you do not need to do a check for symmetry for the y-axis, x-axis of origin. Mostly what you guys need to do in this case is you have to graph the equation and identify x-y intercept. So number 1, yeah, I think this is mostly for this question here. I will recommend question 1, question 6 for sure, question 5 and question 6. Okay, so question 1, question 5, question 6 for the first part here. So you do not need to do 2 or 3 or 4. Yeah, I don't want to do all those. So 1, 5, and 6 will be something that we will concentrate on. This one you will probably, the next one is you have to solve an equation. So like question 7, I'll tell you what to do here. 7, 8, 9. We don't do 10 and 11, but we do 12. Okay. So the next question you have is 7, 8, 9, and 12. So these two is too difficult. This, especially with this one, these are very difficult. So this is for the equation. Now we do the inequality, and do not forget that when you solve an inequality, you have to graph the solution. So this is something that you will get in your test. So number 13 for sure is in your test. 14, 15, no. 16, yes. Okay. And when I point this one out, try to do it yourself. And in your test, it's not exactly the same like this, but it's very similar. I just changed the numbers a little bit. Okay, so at least you can practice this. This is 17 is this is all talking about complex number, which is today's class. Yes, question 17 will be there, and 18 will be there, and 19 will be there for sure. Okay, so 17, 18, 19 will be for sure in your finals. 20 is not in there. Do not need to worry about 20. 21 is not in there. 22 is not in there. 23 is not in there. So all, because at the back there, they're all word problems, right? So as I told you, the only word problems that I was talking about is percentage, average test score, and height of a person. So none of this belongs to that group. Bilal, you got question?
No.
Okay. So this, you do not need to do this word problem here because it's not in your test. So the percentage, average test score, and height of person, the best way to do it is go to your so how do you go back to your old assignments? You just click on past assignment over here, and then you look at the past assignment that you guys did, which is the 1.3, the modeling, the word problem. And then, so I would recommend you to do like question in 1.3. What did we did on the 1.3? Like question 10. Okay, question 10, question 10, question 10, yeah, question, I think about question 10, yeah. So, sorry about that. It's a lot of things. So in 1.3, question 10, and then also question, where was the other one? Where's my test? Yeah, there you go, question 13. So question 13 is the average test score. So these students want to get an A, at least 90%, and then these are the 3 scores. What is the 4th test? So that is something that you guys, if this is the question 13, and then last one is question number 16 or 17. Okay. 16 or 17 with no picture. Okay, no picture. So not like 16, they give you pictures, yeah? So there will be no pictures here. Either you draw it yourself or it's up to you. So so these are the questions. Yes. So these are the questions. Bilal, I'm gonna mute you since you're gonna have questions. If you need, unmute yourself to talk. So so these are the questions that you will get in your finals. So it's roughly around like 14, 15 questions like your midterm. Okay. So I'm doing all right here. Any questions regarding with your final? So if you have your chat pop out, your chat thing, it's all typed out in the chat. I don't know, the Zoom chat here. So if you want, you can copy and paste into Word documents or any notepad, and then you can, at least you know what I'm talking about here. I think you might get a copy of this chat when we exit this. Anyone have any questions with your finals for this coming Thursday, Friday, before we go on to our work, our 141517? Anyone?
So the final is coming from chapter 1, right?
Yes.
Not from me.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Just chapter 1, and it's all of so your final is chapter 1. Yep. Final is chapter 1, and it goes from 1.1 to 1.7. No 1.6, because you know that we don't do 1.6, right? We do 1.4, 1.5, and then we skip 1.6 and you go 1.7. Same thing. Your finals does not include 1.6. Okay. So things that you learn in this class, will be in your finals. Okay. All right. Questions? Now we'll look at 1.4. So we concentrate on 1.4 first, and then 1.5 and 1.7. So anyone have any questions on 1.4? Please let me know. You can type in the chat room now. 1.4, anyone have any questions? Anyone have any questions? 1.4, the main part of 1.4 is doing your quadratic formula. So you have to memorize that formula. Okay. This is important. And when you go to, and do not forget that if you are doing college algebra late start, it is starting not next week, but the following week. So if you are doing college algebra for this, the late start for this, this fall, is starting on not next week, but another week. So make sure you guys do understand that it start on this following week, not following the 2 weeks from now, the 1st of October. We use the same textbook and we use the same access code or your same username and password. So if the teacher is using the web assign, you just need to use back your own password and your username. You do not need to buy any books at all. Okay. All right. Questions on 1.4. This is a quadratic formula. Make sure you guys know how to use.
Yeah.
I have a question too.
Okay. Can you? Yep. What question you have on 1.4?
34.
34.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah, 13 and 16.
13 and 16.
23.
23. All right.
39.
I'm sorry?
39.
39. Okay. Again, I won't have time to do all of these questions. So once I give a start on, we just move on. So I won't go all the way till the end. So you just need to finish it out here. So question number 13 is asking us to solve this equation by extracting a square root. List both of these exact solution and its approximation round to 2 decimal places. So this question, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do what we call as extracting the square root, means take the square root here. So this question is given us by x plus 5 square, and this is equals to 8. Okay, and this question is asking for us for exact solution and approximation. So what's the meaning of the word exact solution? Exact solution means that it is in the square root. So when the question is asking you for exact, means your answer has to be in square root form. And when the question is asking for approximation, then you just use your calculator and then do it. So what's the meaning when I say extracting the square root? Means you have to get this square bar out. So what you do is you take the square root on both sides. This is the meaning of that. And you do plus and minuses. The reason why we do this is because the square and square root will cancel on this side. So what you left here is just x plus 5. Do not forget you need to have the plus and minus here. Now you need to break the root 8 out. So can someone tell me how you manage to simplify root 8? What perfect square goes into 8?
4 and 2.
4 and 2. So so 4 is a perfect square of 2. So this is actually 2 root 2.
Yeah, 2, yeah.
And then in order for us to solve for x, you move the 5 over. So this 5, when you move over, become negative. So this is what we call as exact answer.
Yeah, I saw this and I put in it it says wrong. I don't know why.
Watch carefully. They want the smaller one first. Do you know which one is a smaller one?
Yeah, the negative will be the smaller one, right?
So it will be negative 2 square root of 2, right?
Yeah.
Minus 5.
Yeah.
And this should be 2 square root of 2 plus 5, right? Or minus 5, sorry.
Minus 5, yeah.
So this is good. So this, yeah, this is how you do this one. And then you need approximation. So you take out your calculator and punch this number out. So this is square of 8. So root 8, yeah, you just punch it out. So square root of 8 negative, right? Negative square of 8 minus 5. So this is what you do. So this is negative 7 point something in, I don't know how many decimal places, 2 decimal places. So this will be negative 7.8 something. Yeah, this is how you do this. Hit 3. Yeah, this is what? Hit 3. So this is how you do this. Yeah, should be correct.
It's wrong. It's like I declared it almost 3 times. It keeps telling me wrong.
Send it to me, beloved. Send the question to me, because I don't know what you're doing. So you have to send it to me. So I got it right. See that? I got it right.
Yeah,
so I already told you guys, if you have any questions that you doesn't know, send it to me. I will look at it for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
16. Now this question asking you to do completing the square, ignore it. So do not do completing the square here, because completing the square is a very difficult ways to do it. So I will recommend you guys to just do the quadratic formula. So any single one that say solve this using completing the square, ignore it. Because in your finals, I won't tell you to say, solve this using quadratic formula, solve this using factoring, solve this using that extracting the square root. No, I won't even tell you to do that. I just say, solve this equation. So it's up to you what way to do it. And I'm definitely not going to do completing the square, because completing the square takes like 5 steps. Okay, so I will recommend for question 16, use the quadratic formula here. But when you guys use the quadratic formula, the first thing you need to know is you have to make this equals to 0. Because this is equals to 3 here. So you have to move that 3 over. So when you move that 3 over, this will become negative. So this is very important when you guys use the quadratic formula, is you have to make this equals to 0. And once you got this, this will be your A, this will be your B, and this will be your C. Do you guys know how to use your quadratic formula? Okay, go and do it now. You say, right? Use your quadratic formula and figure out your answer here. Oh, this is the formula here. Those are like, what is the quadratic formula? Make sure, do I provide you this formula in your finals? The answer is no. This is a quadratic formula. It's not provided in your finals. Do you need to use this formula in your college algebra, your trig, your calculus? Yes. And the teacher will not teach you. So it's quadratic formula. So make sure you know your formula. $39. If you want, you can message me. Once you got your answer, you can message me. 23. Okay, 23. How to enter number 9 and 10? Kara, I just got your 9 and 10. Kara, 9 and 10, you just enter like what I just did. Yeah, you just enter like what I just did just now. Yeah. Okay, good. Sorry about that, Kara. I didn't look at the chat room. 16, make sure yes, you are correct. Same thing happens when you go to college algebra, when they and trig, when they ask for exact, means no calculators, is all in roots or something else. Approximation is where you use a calculator. Yep. Anyone know what you get here? I haven't done that yet. I'm talking to you guys.
I got a -1 plus and minus square root of 2 over 2. 5 minutes, right?
Let me check. I haven't done the work yet. I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. Just chatting with you guys. Make sure you have your calculator for your task because you're using calculator here. And you won't get these big numbers like this in your finals, because that is 288 is a big number. Below, what did you just say? I didn't get you just now.
I said -1 plus and minus square root of 2 divided by all over 2.
Yep, that is correct.
And I put that in a answer too. It's wrong. I don't know why.
Again, do you do plus and minus?
Yeah, I do plus and minus.
No. Your online homework do not like plus and minuses. That means you have to put your.
No, I didn't do. What I did separately. Like they say, you should separate it with command, right?
Yeah,
separate
so it's -1 or fraction. Yeah, this is how you do it. Bilal, if you have any questions with just entering the wrong answer, like what you just did, you have to send me an email. Then I know, then I can see what's going on. So this is that how you enter like this, Bilal?
I put two answer because
yeah, and then you do the comma. Do you put a comma?
Right.
And then it's -1 minus square root
minus
2. Like that.
Yes.
Yeah. If they mark you wrong, then send me the question to me. So I got it right.
Yeah, you got it right. I know I check on it, it's right. Like I check on different answers, it's right, but when I put it in, it's wrong.
Send it to me. Send it to me. Then I know what's going on.
I watched the video, like this. I followed the step by step. I got the answer. Yeah.
So if it's marked you wrong, you have to send it to me.
Okay.
So what's happening here is the formula is -b, so it's a -12 plus and minus square root of square of this b squared, which is 12, which is 144, minus 4 times a is 12, and c is -3. Okay, so this is 12, and then 2 times 12, 2 times 8. So this is the formula for quadratic formula. So what you need to do here is you have to use your calculator to calculate this piece first without the square root. Okay, so you take 144, sorry, you take 144 minus 4 times 12 times -3. So this is not the square root. Don't put the square root here. It could give you a bunch of decimals. So this is actually give you the square root of 288. And then what you need to do with this is you have to break it down. 288, you can, like what we did with √8. So this is a big number to break it down. 288 is actually 144 times 2. And 144 is a perfect square of 12. So what you have in this case is -12 plus minus. This whole thing is just become 12√2 over by 12. 2 times 12 is 24. Now, when you guys do this, please do not do this. This is wrong. Oh yeah, this goes in there 2 times. This is wrong. Okay, so do not do this in your finals because you will get like 1 point off here. So do not cancel like this. So please pay attention. What is the best way to do those who doesn't know? So the best way to do this kind of question is to separate your denominator. So what do you mean by separate the denominator here is it's 24. So you just make each and every one of these over by 24. So this is a better way to do it instead of the whole thing 24. And then yes, 12 can go into 24 twice. So that's why you get the answer of this, a -1 plus and minus square root of 2 over 2. You guys doing all right here with 16? So below, if you have any questions that you think you get it right, but you got it wrong, send it to me. I can look at it.
Okay.
Because I don't know, because the question I have is different from your question. All right, so this is how we do question number 16. So we look at 23. What's 23 about? It's if question 23 is also using quadratic formula, but what happens to question 23? Does anyone know what to do with question 23 here? It's given us by x squared plus 8 plus 10x equals to 0. Can you just use this and say, this is my A, this is my B, this is my C here on question 23? Can you say this is my A is 1, my B is 8, and my C is 10? Can you do that? No. Why we cannot do this is because this is not in a standard form. So the standard form is this. This is the standard form, means the high to low power. So you have to rearrange your equation here. So x squared plus 10x plus 8 equals to 0. And then this is your A is 1, B is 10, and C is 8. And then again, you have to use this formula to do this work. So x in this case is negative b, so it's -10 plus minus b squared, which is 100, minus 4 times a times c. The good news is your a is 1, so you can ignore it because 4 times 1 is still 4. So you just need to multiply this by c, which is 8 here. Okay, the 1 is ignored is because it's redundant. Then it's 2 times 1. Again, 2 times 1 is 2. So this one is easier than question 16, where you need to use your calculator to do this one. So it's 100 minus 4 times 8, which is 32, right? So that is 68. So this is -10 plus minus square root of 68 over 2. Again, the 2 and the 10, you cannot cancel like this. You cannot cancel, become 5. You have to do some simplification. So now this 68, you have to break it down like what we did in 288. So can someone tell me what perfect square numbers can divide 68 to? Anyone know what's a perfect square numbers can divide 68? Anyone? Anyone? What number can divide 68?
217.
4 and 17, right? 4 times 17.
Yeah.
And then 4 is a perfect square of 2. Yep, you got it. So this is -10 plus minus 2 square root of 17. And then over 2 and over 2. Like again, what I tell you last time here, you have to break it into 2 pieces like that. And then now the 2 can goes into 10 5 times. And the 2 and the 2 here will cancel out really nicely. So your answer in this case is -5 plus minus square root of 17. You guys all right here? So these kind of questions, you will get them in your finals. So make sure you guys know how to do it. Okay, very important. So the next one we're gonna do here is 34 and then 37 and 39. Because we don't really have enough time here. Let me give you a. Are you guys all right here? Can I get a new fresh piece? You guys doing okay? Can I get a new one? Okay. So if let's do that. Number 30.
Oh, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So for number 23, I kind of had different numbers, but I have 56 under the square root, and I broke 56 down to 8 and 7.
That cannot work.
That okay.
Because 8 and 7 are not perfect square.
Okay.
You have to find a perfect. One of them has to be a perfect square.
Okay. So I need to.
So I think let's try 56. So I think 56 will be 4. Will be let's see 4. 56 divided by 4. Yep. So it's 4 and 14.
Okay, because you only supposed to have one number under the square root, correct?
That means that one of this number has to be perfect square.
Okay. That's where
Yep. 8 and 7 won't work here because 8 is not perfect square and 7 is not perfect square. You should have to use like either 4, 9, 16, 25. Those are the numbers you have to use. Okay. Yep. So make sure you guys know that when you break down a square root number like this, make sure you use one of the number you break it down has to be a perfect square. 34. 34 is where they ask you this. Use the equation to given below. This is the equation we have, where V0 is the initial velocity, S0 is the initial height, and T is the time in seconds. So this is used a lot in your physics class. And then the question A is asking is an aircraft flying at 400 feet over level terrain drop a supplies package. So this 400 feet is actually your S0, this one. Okay. So your S0 is 400. Your V0 is what we call as the initial velocity. This is actually 0. The reason why is because that when you drop something, that means you hold it up here before you drop it. So when you hold it up, that is no velocity. Velocity is like speed, okay, like your car, acceleration. Okay, so when you hold on something before you drop it, you have no speed or no acceleration. So that's why your V0 is 0 in this case. So what we do here is the question is asking is how long does it to strike the ground? So to strike the ground means that your S is 0. Okay, so that means that you drop this from 400 feet and then it will go to ground. So so when you apply to this formula, so your S in this case is 0, and then -16t squared. The good news about this is your V0 is 0, so this whole thing, the second term, the middle term is all 0, and then plus 400. So this is, then you just need to solve for time. So this is very easy to solve. Again, I'm going to move this -16t over there. So the negative will become positive 16t squared. And then I divide this by 16. So this is what happens, class, when your middle term is missing. Okay, this is very important, class. If your middle term is nothing, you do not need to use quadratic formula because it will save your time. Quadratic formula is best used when you know your A, B, and C. If your b is 0 in this case, or b you doesn't have any b, don't use quadratic formula because it is actually longer work than this. Okay, so this is something I will point out to you guys when you guys do my test or your homework. So we just solve like usual, like subtract, add, and divide. And then so 400 divided by 16. Let's see what that is. 400 divided by 16 is 25. So t squared in this case is 25. So what you do next is you take the square root of it. And every time you take a square root, you take a plus minus. So in this case, your answer will be plus minus 5. See, this is so much easier compared with quadratic formula. Okay, so again, class, when your middle term is 0 or your b is 0 here, please use this way to do it. You can use quadratic formula, but it's going to be twice as much longer, and it takes you maybe twice as long to do it. Okay, now your answer here has to be only positive. The reason why is because this is time. Time cannot measure in negative. So your answer in this case is 5 seconds. Okay. All right, next is question B. This is a hard one actually. Why is hard is because you have to use conversion here. Okay. Next is asking, the aircraft is flying 140 miles per hour. How far does the supply package travel horizontal in the descent? So what is going on in this question is we know the time here is 5 seconds from quick A, okay, and the miles per hour. This is like a rate. Your rate in this case is 142 miles per hour. The question here is asking us to find the time, distance. Okay, and we have a formula here. The formula is distance is rate times time. So in order for you to do this, distance is rate times time. And unfortunately that your rate is in miles per hour and your time is in 5 seconds. So they are totally different units. And if you look carefully here, they want your answer in feet. So there's a lot of conversion you have to do. So the first thing you need to do is you have to change this miles per hour to become feet per second. Yes. Why we have to change this to feet per second is because first, the question wants us feet, and then the time that you're using here is in second. So how do you convert 142 miles per hour to become feet per second? So what you do is, this is miles per hour. So this is what happens when you have 142 miles per hour. So first thing is you have to convert miles into feet. So what we do here is kind of like a little bit of unit conversion. So the mile has to be in the bottom and your feet has to be top. The reason why you do this is because your mile will cancel out with this miles. So now you just get feet here. So you can Google this. In the test, I don't think so I'll come up with this question. 1 mile is actually 5,280 feet. Okay, this is the conversion. If you doesn't know the conversion, please go to Google search or anywhere you can search the conversion. 1 mile is how many feet, they will tell you. Next, we have to convert hours to seconds. Now, because the hour here is in the bottom here, so this hour will be on top and the second should be on the bottom. The reason why you're doing this is because your hour will cancel. So what you have here is feet per second. So do you see the units here? So we know 1 hour is how many minutes? 60 minutes. And 1 minute is how many seconds?
60 seconds.
It's also 60 seconds, right? So my question is, how many seconds in 1 hour? One hour has how many seconds?
120.
So with this 60 and this 60, you will multiply it. So what is 60 times 60? 3,600, right? So in this case, you just take out your calculator and multiply all these icky numbers here. So the first thing you have is 142 times 5280, and then divided by 3,600. Do not round this number, so it's 200 something. It's 200. 208.26666. So 208.2666666. And the unit here will be feet per second. Next, what you need to do here is now you have to find the distance. So the distance is rate times times. The rate is this one, the one that you just calculate. This is your rate. Times time. Time is 5 seconds. So what you need to do is you take this icky number that you have in your calculator times 5, and that will be your answer. So this icky number that you have, you multiply it by 5. So your answer in this case will be 1041.32333. So it's 1041.33333. So how many decimal place I need? 1 decimal place. So it's 1041.3. You guys are doing all right there? $37. Now, usually when you guys solve a quadratic, you solve this, so on, and then sometimes you factor it, right? And then so I say x minus 5 and x plus 3, then your answer is 5 and negative 3, right? So this is what happens in question number 37. Is now is the backward style. What I mean by backward style is now instead of giving you the equation, I give you the solution. You have to give me back the equation. So it's kind of like back ways. So how do we do this? Is first you have to write this in the factor form. So if you have 5, you put x minus 5. If you have negative 3, you put x plus 3. And then after that, you FOIL it out and make it equals to 0. And that's your answer in this case. So for this question number 37, they give you the 0, which is 0 and 2. So now you need to write this into the factor form. So how do we write in the factor form? If you have 0, the factor form is x. If you have 2, the factor form is x minus 2. Because if you make this equals to 0, you get 0 and 2. So it's kind of doing the backward style of what we have. So what you do in this case is you distribute this. So what you get is x squared minus 2x equals to 0. And that is your answer in this case. Okay. So this is used a lot in college algebra when you go to college algebra. So make sure you guys know that if they want you to go the backwards way, like if they give you the solution, they want you the equation, make sure you put this in the factor form first, and then you FOIL it out or you distribute, and then you will get a equation here, and that's your answer. So it's x squared minus 2x equals to 0. Make sure you put the equals to 0. A lot of students, a lot of students did not put equals to 0, and they will get wrong. Okay, so make sure you have an equals 0 at the end there. You guys doing all right here with this 37? So it's not that difficult. And the last one we have is 39. Gosh, we take the whole hour already to do this part. The demand equation is given us by this, where P is the price and X is a unit sold. The revenue is given us by the formula of XP, which is X times all this, the 80 minus 0.004X. how many units must be sold that the revenue is 260,000? Round your number to the whole number. So that means that your R in this case, your revenue is 26, a lot of zeros here. So it's 26000 equals to this equation. So I'm going to distribute my X over there. So I will get 80X minus 0.0004X squared. Okay, so I'm just distributing my X here, and I replace my revenue to become 260,000. So what we do in this case is we will make this as a standard form. So I move all this to this side of the equation. Okay, so I will get 0.0004X squared minus 80X, because once I move this to that side, all my sign has to change. Plus 26,000, 260,000, sorry, equals to 0. So what I'm trying to do here is I set this equation to become a standard form where this small number is my A, this is my B, and yes, you need calculator for this question, and this will be my C. So now we use the quadratic formula. So 80, negative 80, so this will become just 80. Plus minus B squared, so you have to square the negative 80. You can ignore the negative because when you square it's still positive. So 80 times 80, that's 80 squared. 6,400. So this is B squared. Minus 4 times A is very small, 0.0004. And C is a big number, 260,000. And all over by 2A. 2A is 0.0004. So what you do here is you have to use your calculator to figure all this number, the one inside the square root. So I got 6,400 minus 4 times 0.0004 times 26,000. So I'm doing all this under the square root number. So this will give me square root of 5984. And 2 times 0.0004 give me 0.0008. There are 3 zeros here, not 6. They're all 3 zeros. So now what you do here is you use your calculator and punch what is 80 plus square root of 5984 divided by 0.008. And that number will go to the larger value. This will go to the large one. And you repeat again for this one, but this time with a minus, because you got the plus and minuses. And that will give you the small value in this case. Okay. And don't forget, you have to round your answer in whole number. What I mean by whole number means that they don't want decimals. So if you got 64.973, something like this, that means your answer will be 65. Okay. So when they're asking for whole number, means they don't want decimals. So you can ignore the decimal. So this is all mostly calculator work. So so make sure you do it on your own. Like the large one here, I can do it here. So make sure you put a parenthesis. Yes, when you guys do this in your calculator, make sure you have a parenthesis around this. Otherwise, you get it wrong. So parenthesis 80 plus square root of 5984. Close a parenthesis, and then divide this by 1.0008. Oh, sorry, that's another 0. 3 zeros here. Sorry, my bad. 30. So this is gonna be 19. Oh, this is a big number. 196,695. So because the 3 is not big enough to round, so the larger one is 196,695. 196,695. So this is how you find your large one. The small one, you repeat the same thing, but put a minus sign in here. Okay, that's a small one. And round it to the whole number too. You guys all right here so far with this? It's the whole hour doing it. All right, 1.5. I got question 14 on 1.5 that I need to talk about. Anyone have any questions on number 1.5 here? $14 is one of them, I know, because a lot of you asked me this one. So this is what we call as a complex number. Don't forget that when you do complex number, it's gonna be I. Okay, so treat that as like a X. The only difference here is I is a square root of -1. And I square is -1. So this is the kind of like you need to know what's going on with complex numbers. Okay. For example, I do number 14 for you. So for question number 14 here is this and this inside the square root can be written down as the I form. The reason why is because of the negative inside the square root. So the negative square root will make it become I, but the root 8, you have to break it down like what we did in most of the square root. And again, you need perfect square numbers. So 8 will be 4 times 2, and 4 is a perfect square of 2. So this question is actually -5 plus 2I root 2. So the 4 and 2, the 4 is a perfect square of 2, the I is from the negative, plus 7 minus, can someone tell me what is a good number to use for 50? 50 is, anyone? Must be perfect square numbers, don't forget. You cannot use 5 and 10. 5 and 10 are not perfect square numbers. So 50 is what times what?
25 and 2.
Yep. And 25 is a perfect square of?
5.
5. So this will be 5I root 2. Yep. And then what you need to do is add them up. So now you can combine like terms. So this 5 and this -5 and this 7 is a like terms. So when you add, you get 2. And then the 2I and the -5I are like terms. These two are like terms. So this will become -3I root 2. So your answer for question number 14 will be this, 2 minus 3I root 2. 2 minus, and you cannot combine these two, they are not like terms. These two are not like terms. So it's 2 minus 3I square root of 2. So I'm doing all right here with number 14. Pretty much straightforward type, you just need to reduce that. Anyone have any questions on 1.5 here in complex? Anyone have any questions for me? Anyone? Anyone? Because we are running out of time here. Speak before you guys go, if I move on. Anyone all right with 1.5? Right. Do you know how to do what we call as division? Where's my friend? Division like this. Like number 24 and do you guys know how to do this kind of questions? 24. Okay. So if you have 24, this is very easy. If you see an I in the denominator, you have to rationalize this. So what you do is you multiply this by I. So what happens when you have one term? This is one term, monomial. This is one term. So if you have one term, so in order for us to make this as a standard quotient, in standard form, you just need to multiply this with I. Okay. So what you get here is negative 20I over by 4I squared. Okay, because this is negative 20I, this is 4I squared. I squared, as I brought up, I squared is negative 1. So this will turn to become negative 1. So what we have in this case is a negative 20I divided by negative 4, because 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. And then you can reduce this. This has become 5I. So your answer for question number 24 is 5I, because this becomes 5. So this is what happens if you have what we call as one term. Okay, like 24, 28, they're all one terms. You just multiply this by I. But what happens like 25 when you have two terms? Yes, this one is coming out in your finals on this week. Okay, so pay attention. Those who are like sleeping or not paying attention, this is in your finals, number 25. So how do we do this? Again, now you don't have one terms, you got two terms in this case. Okay, so this is two terms here. So in order for us to make this as a standard form here is you have to multiply by its conjugate. And the conjugate is the same as the bottom one, but your sign switch. So 1 minus 3I become 1 plus 3I. So this is what you guys need to do here is you have to multiply this by its conjugate. This is only happens when you have two terms in your denominator. Always conjugate on two terms. One terms you always multiply by I. Two terms you do the conjugate. Now when you multiply by its conjugate, the denominator is very nice because you only need to do the first and the last when you FOIL this. The reason why you don't do the inside and the outside is because one of them is a positive and the other one is a negative. They will cancel, become 0. Okay. So when you multiply the denominator, you just need to do 1 times 1, which is 1. Negative 3I plus positive 3I, this will become negative 9I squared. Okay, the middle term will be canceled because one is a positive 3I, the other one is a negative 3I, it becomes 0. And as usual, I squared is negative 1. So this will give me 1 plus 9. Because negative 1 times negative 9 is positive. So actually your denominator is 10. So this is how we do your denominator. You FOIL it out, but you don't do the outside and the inside, the O and I. The top one, you have to FOIL the whole thing. So you have to FOIL this out for the top. So 7 times 1, you get 7. 7 times 3I, you get 21I. Negative 11I times 1 is negative 11I. And negative 11I times 3I is negative 33I squared. So this is what happens when you FOIL this, you will get this. And as usual, when you FOIL the middle term, you can combine them because they are like terms. This will give me a positive 10i here. As we know that I squared will change this to become a negative 1. So what we have in this case is 7 from here. And then this is plus 33. 7 and 33. So 7 plus 33 is 40. So what we have here is 40 plus 10i. So 7 plus 33 here is 40. And then this is 10i. And they're all going to be divided by 10. So as usual, like last time, you don't want to do like this, the whole thing 10. So what do I told you guys is split this 10 into 2 pieces like this. So now we can cancel. So 40 divided by 10 is 4. And 10 divided by 10 is 1i. So your answer for question 24 is 4 plus I. So this is how we do question 25. Do I tell you it's coming up in your finals?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So you make sure that you guys know how to do this question because it's coming out in your finals. So I would suggest when you guys go home, when you guys finish doing this homework, just click practice another version so you can practice it. Okay, I would recommend you to really practice. It's coming up in your finals this weekend. Questions so far with this? We only got a few more minutes left. 1.7. Does anyone have any questions on 1.7? So this is all inequalities. Okay, this is all inequalities. When you guys do inequalities, we only use parentheses or brackets. We don't use dots or colored circles or open circles or full circles. So when you have x is less than 7, your graph will look like this, 7. Less than means we will use this kind of, we will use parentheses. If you have a less than or equals to or greater than equals to, we will use brackets. So like this, you have to go to the left and point to the left. So this is the graph for x is less than 7. If I have an equal to 7, you just need to change that the parentheses to become bracket. And that's what your graph will look like. So solving this inequality is like solving equation. The only time is that if you have if you're dividing or multiplying with a negative numbers, so like this, when you solve this, you're dividing this with -6. So the first thing you need to do when you divide with a negative number, you have to switch your inequality. Okay, so this is the inequality piece that you guys need to know is when you divide by negative number, you have to switch your inequalities. So this is the one that you have to do. But what happens if you have something like this? Do you see the difference between this inequality and this inequality? So this one you divide by -6, right? What you need to do here to get rid of the 6 here, to get x by itself, we have to divide this by 6. Do you need to switch your inequality? We know this is -2. My question is, does your inequality is the same or you have to switch it like what we just did over here? This is important. Well, we are dividing with, so you ask yourself, are we dividing with a negative number? Now, when I say dividing with negative number, do I talk about 6 or do I talk about 12? -12. What do you mean by this? Okay. So when you divide with a negative number, we are talking about this 6, not 12. Okay. So are we dividing with a negative number for this question? The answer is no. So your sign remains the same. You don't switch it. So the only time when you switch it is when you divide with a negative number. This is the meaning when I say divide with a negative number, where you divide with a negative number. I don't care about
239 units.
I'm sorry? Someone say something. Someone, what?
Sorry, that's by mistake.
Oh, so yeah, this, when you divide by negative number, this does not play an important role. This is the one that we talk about that plays important role. You guys okay here? Okay, so make sure you guys know when you divide, and every time when you guys do this section, you have to draw a graph. Okay, so if you have then if you look at this, they say bounded or unbounded. So if you have this is called unbounded because you use parentheses. This is called bounded. Okay, so like this use parentheses, so it's unbounded. This one use brackets, it is bounded. Okay, so this is the meaning of bounded and unbounded. Is parenthesis means it's not bound, bracket means it's bounded. Okay, what's the meaning when you get something like this, like -8, 6? Okay, so if you get something like -8 and 6, that means that this is in between, we call it. So this is in between -8, x, and 6. Okay, when you do the in-between sign, this symbol has to be less than. This symbol has to be less than. It cannot look something like this. So there is no, in math, there's no such thing as this where one is greater than and one is less than. We don't have that. Okay, so every time when you guys do this, it's always less than. So if you want to do this question, your answer in this case will be this one. Okay, because there are parentheses here. Can someone guess what is this one looks like, number 4? They use bracket here. Is that A, B, C, or D? Anyone? For question 4, no, question 4. Anyone? A, B, C, or D? Anyone? Hello? This is a brackets, and brackets we use what symbol? An equal sign, right? So which one is the one that we will use here? A, B, C, or D? It will be B. Again, all this, your sign has to go to the left. It looks exactly like what I just did over here. Okay, so they all has to be point towards left in this case. Okay, class, I don't know how many of you watched the YouTube video for the if posted on YouTube. So so I would recommend for the last section 1.7. Do you guys watch your old the old video that I post out here? Do you guys watch this video for 1.7? This is from my old last meeting. So I would recommend that if you have questions or something else, watch this. I repost all this old, so click on it and watch the video on this. This is actually come from my last summer class. So it is all about, it has questions about it. It has the way that we figure out. So I would recommend that this is all yeah. So this is all 1.7 here. So I would really, really recommend you to watch that video. And if you are stuck with others, other sections like 1.5 or 1.4, you can also watch it over here. This is all from, and they all, and if you can tell already by the old video, this old Zoom video, they all are from my previous, it's just last summer, like a month ago. Yeah, and they all have, look at all these questions. This is 1.4. So like the same question, some of you have questions. Yeah, I did all this already. So if you need help with some questions, I would recommend you to watch these videos because they all have we really did Irish post mostly all the questions. So like here that 37, someone asked me this, so it's redone. This is the one that we just did on 39, the whole icky ones. It's all in here. So I would recommend you guys to watch these videos, 1, 4, 1, 5, and 17. This is my old Zoom videos, and you do not need to watch the whole hour. You can skip along. Oh, I know how to do this. You just move along. Yeah, I will recommend you to watch it, especially when you're doing these homeworks, and we are running out of time in this case. All right, so do not forget this 3-section homework, 1, 4, 1, 5, and 17 is due tonight. If you have any questions, please send me emails, very important. Watch the old Zoom meetings, that is also very important. Your test, your final is Thursday and Friday. Don't forget, it's right here, Thursday and Friday, depends on your lane. If you cannot show up in your finals between this time or these dates, you have to let me know. Okay. Yes, Boha.
So just to make sure, when it says smaller value, we use a -1, right?
Yes, usually. Yep. Yep.
What about if we use a -1 and the answer is positive, but for the large one is negative?
Oh, then you have to put it, then you have to switch. Make sure you know which is smaller, which is bigger, right?
So I would just put the positive one with a large number and I don't have to.
Yeah, yes. So if you do something like this, I know. And the negative one give you 6.5. And the positive one give you -3.7. Then this will be the larger one, and then this will be the smaller one.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's not always, you have to watch out, especially if you have a negative in the bottom here, it will switch all your signs around.
Yeah, that's true.
So a lot of students think, oh, this negative is always the smaller one, right? And the positive is always the larger one, right? But because of this negative down here, it will switch your sign.
Okay, thank you.
So that's why the small become large and the large become small. So yeah, I would recommend just be careful with this negative bound here, because they will switch your small and large sign. So anyone have any questions for me? Again, self-assessment. If you cannot come to this time, please email me. We'll start up the Zoom meetings as soon as you can, like today or tomorrow, because it takes time for me to, I need to figure out what time you're free and what time I'm free and so on and so on. So yeah, please, if you are, Victoria, you're taking the test here or you're gonna take it Zoom. Can you?
Yeah, I was actually gonna email you and ask you, can I take it on Friday? I'll be there though.
Oh, you'll be there, okay, Friday, then you'll be fine. Yeah, if you'll be in Minnesota, then yeah, Friday will be fine. So make sure you come at.
Email you?
No need.
Okay.
If you are not taking Zoom, right? You're taking here, right? Okay, you do not. Yeah, just come on Friday then. You'll be fine. Okay. Yep. Anyone have any questions for me? Because I have another Zoom meeting in another 10 minutes. I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna stop recording.